Okay, no. Here you can only go live with only one thing. I was trying to do both, but anyway, I see that there is one person watching. Welcome to Malibu TV. This is Coach Malibu, your holistic life and wellness coach, working with the well-being of mind, body, and spirit. And today we are having our last session on relationships and marriages. And as you all know, if you have been following our series, we have been talking to Mr. Thabo Machie, who is a relationship coach and a marriage counselor, who has been teaching us a whole lot of things about marriage and relationships. But before we go further, please let us welcome Mr. Machie. Mr. Machie, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Coach. And yeah, today it's quite an interesting one. I'm looking forward to being entertained.
Of course. You know what? I think the issue of sex, we're not going to really get to a point where we're going to finish this thing because it is very, very interesting. But what I want to say is that one of the things that I have seen, which I want to thank everyone who has watched these videos, who have been following our series, which is I think, okay, yes, let's call it episode 4, and we have over 100 views in all these videos that we have been doing for the past a month, 3 weeks. It's now a month that we have been doing this, and thank you for everyone who have been sharing and commenting and asking questions. Today, Thabo, I never got a question because I know people don't want to look like I never got any question from anyone, but I want us to talk about the issue of sex because of the idea that people think that in marriage especially there is no sex, and actually in relationships there's so much sex, and people can just sleep around and all these things, but when you come to marriage then it becomes an issue. So this is what I want us to talk about. What is it that is causing people not to have sex, or if that is actually true, people not to have sex as they wish in marriage? And yeah, let's start with that, then we will come with other questions as well. Yes.
Uh, Coach, one of the realities that the saddest reality that we faced with is the fact that we have demonized sex. We've demonized sex so much that the teachings have actually made people to not even want to talk about it, and that creates a whole lot of curiosity. That is why many people enjoy it. You find people who don't want to talk about sex. You find people who don't want to engage on any issues that has to do with sex, but at the same time they are actually indulging secretly. And I think it is actually the teachings that have made sex to be such a bad thing, so much that a lot of people take that kind of mentality into marriage. It's like you are now in marriage, and this is where it is blessed, it is sanctified, it is yours anytime, anywhere you can have it, but still you still carry that psychological effect that makes you to be scared of it. And I think that could be one of the reasons that many people don't actually enjoy it. I mean, you spend your years from birth up until you get married, you are told, hey, don't you dare. And now by the time you are an adult, you want to indulge in it, you have to overcome that hurdle. You have to overcome that barrier of saying, I need to be comfortable. I need to be myself. I need to be able to talk about it. I need to be able to express it with my spouse. And sometimes it takes a toll on the marriage. I would say both the cultural and the religious teachings when it comes to the subject of sex are actually not doing much of any of justice to the subject, because it needs to start even from our youth. We need to teach them in a way that they don't see sex as a demonic thing, but they need to understand sex as something that God has made and God has created for people to indulge in, but it has its own appointed time and place. So if we can perhaps change the idea of how we teach about sex, then we would find it easy for people to communicate about it. I call it community sex. In marriage, we need to have more of community sex, whereby all we do is to talk about our sex life. We don't talk about finances, we don't talk about kids, we don't talk about that, but we only focus on our sex life. Hey, babes, am I still, hitting it? Am I still taking you there? Are we still enjoying this journey? So we need to get people to understand the fact that sex is a good thing and God created it, and therefore they need to learn to enjoy it intentionally. It's not something that you just expect to happen. You have to be intentional about it. So people won't enjoy because they still carry those psychological barriers which demonized sex so much. And for them to overcome that, it needs another psychological attention, for them to realize that no, those teachings were for that time when I was still youth, I was still young, I was still single. But now that I am here in marriage, Bona, Azishe, this is it. This is the time. This is the space.
And you know what, now that we talk about marriage, I once asked you today when I started this live, I asked God, please, can you restore our internet so that it doesn't break, because we are talking about a very serious thing here, right? Well, most of us, right, have had sex before marriage, even though we are told not to have it before marriage. So
Mm.
my question to you is that what happens if I have sex outside of marriage? Like what would happen? What is the major big thing that would happen to me if I have sex outside of marriage?
Look, firstly, let's talk about it from a religious point of view. We know that fornication is against the will of God. So that is the first thing. If we pay attention to that, then that would answer the question, what would happen, if I have it outside marriage? Now, secondly, when it comes to the natural part of it, we have seen the after effects of sex outside its boundaries. We have seen people indulging in casual sex, and it has hurt a whole lot of them. Why? Because the moment it becomes a casual sex, then what happens is that we put our souls at risk of being hurt. We find ourselves opening up certain things which shouldn't be exposed just because of our sexual desires. So you know that we have things like perhaps teenage pregnancies. We have things like which influences single parenting, like single motherhood, single fatherhood, and those kind of things. They are as a result of the fact that we don't respect sex as we should. Sex is something that is
You see, every time when we talk about sex, hello, beautiful people. Can you hear us? I think we have lost Tabo there. Every time when I ask Tabo about this question, the line just gets somehow. Hello, Tabo. Can you still hear me? Um, hello, guys. Hello, guys. Can you still hear me? Yeah, I can see myself there. Okay, fine. So Coach Inati is saying that sex is a very spiritual practice, and I completely agree with that. Even though most of us, I'm not going to act like a saint in here and say I have never had it, but most of us, we are having it without the knowledge of what it is. And I remember one of the coach, I think it's Coach Tamsi, who did a program on how to use sex to manifest the life that you want. I just don't remember the program. I didn't attend it, but it was quite interesting then. Actually, sex is there meant for creativity. So Bonkosi, they came because of sex, you know, and even myself and you there at home, we came here because of sex. And I am going to try and get Thabo online with us, because today we are talking about a very diligent issue, guys. We cannot miss this guy. We cannot miss this guy, because I have a whole lot of questions for Thabo. So let me just, in a minute, just hold on, guys. So one of the things that I wanted to ask Thabo as well, and we can also talk about it there on the chat room, is the issue of women not loving sex as they're supposed to. And the reason I'm not sure, like many people have this idea that women do not love sex, and I wanted Thabo to also touch on it, because this is the issue that we need to address, especially in our communities, in our marriages. And also, if you do have a husband who believes that you don't love sex, because I know that women love sex, but for many other reasons, you may lose your interest in sex. And I know personally with myself, when I grew up, I mean, I was sexually abused. So sex, I viewed it as something else, not what I wanted to, or what I could have loved to do. And that is the reason why I always speak about healing, because when you heal yourself, then you take out layers and layers of, you know, things that have been piling on you, that have been restricting you, or, you know, those walls that have been, personally myself, that have been restricting me from enjoying sex, right? But the other reasons that women might not be interested or look like they are not interested in sex is the issue that we overwork ourselves as women. So in the olden days, women had their own thing, you know. A man and a woman were not about to get to one another's lane, you know. A man was to provide, a woman was to groom and grow the kids and cook for the kids and clean and all those things. And as the time goes, the generation changes, and we now are the generation of women who are working. We have businesses, we are CEOs and all of that, and still we are expected to do what our parents have done. I mean, not so long ago in the group with Thabo, we were talking about this issue of overworking yourself as a woman. And then that desire, I mean, when you get to bed, when you are tired, guys, you are tired, you don't want anything. And I remember myself when we started, when we got married back in 2016, those were the issues that we were having. We were having issues around me believing that, you know, I am overworked, and plus I don't like chores myself. So I literally was overworked. And when I think of sex, it was the last thing, because I wanted to go to bed and sleep. That's it. And I think I made a video about that, which everybody right now is watching it. I mean, it has about 1,000 something viewers, of people always even commenting. There we have Thabo on the line. Okay. So it has people commenting on it. I even decided to close the comments, because I mean, a lot of people were like, why did you get married if you are going to feel that way? So we have Thabo. Okay, Thabo. Okay.
Not today, Tabatu. I have no idea what is happening. You know, it just decided to go off like that. Not today.
Yes. Okay. So I was talking right now about the issue of, or you were wrapping up the issue of how we have normalized that we can just have sex anytime and, you know, casually. And now I understand the spirituality behind sex. And I was talking about an issue that women do not like sex. And I see that Dr. Maditsi as well is commenting on that one of the things that I know women are doing is, and I'm going to go back because you are not here, is overworking themselves. And in the olden days, men and women had their own responsibilities, that now I'm going to provide, where now you are sitting at home, you are doing the chores and everything, right? And then the time changed, and as the time changed, Bomalebo, they are working, they have businesses, they, plus their wives and all those things. And one of the things that I personally also struggled with was the issue of overworking myself. And I will be, my daily activity, you can literally see, even now I still have that. So I was going to gym, Tabo, and after gym, then actually in the morning I go to work, after work I go to gym, and after gym then I have to cook, and then after cooking then you have to wash the dishes. When you get to bed, you are exhausted. Even exhausted is like and it caused a whole lot of friction in the house, because my husband expected that it should happen, and I expected, I don't, that I say I don't like chores, like I don't want to see myself ever working like that, right? And one of the things today, what I was grateful for, was the fact that I have somebody who's helping me in the house, who's helping me with Nkosi, who's helping me with it, because not every woman is built like that. So I believe that most of us as women, because of the idea of women must work and those type of things, we want to also fall into that category. But some of us, Kibo Malebu, like Dr. Maditi, she's saying, I was once part of the women who don't love sex. Well, I lost interest of the daily activities and what that was, let me just read it right, I had to do at home. So at the end of the day, I would be tired. Yes. So a lot of women are overworked and they don't realize this. And actually, even the men, some men, and I know, Tabo, you saying, I love that, you saying that you do your dishes with your wife, you do a whole lot of things with her so that she doesn't feel like she's working. But I know personally that is like 10% of men so far that I would hear saying that, right? But most men would sit around and like do nothing, and then sex is at the bedroom, and then when Malebu or when Unati or when whoever, you have to come and you have to be ready for that. And this one we will talk about it. So let's talk about firstly the issue of being overworked. How do we then communicate to our husbands, for the people who are overworked? And we were talking about this issue in the morning. How do you then say, hey, Mbutu, Kana, I am tired. I'm tired. I'm tired of washing dishes. I'm tired of, cooking. Can you come to party and help me here so that when we get into the bedroom, we are okay?
That is a very interesting one. And let me be honest with you, that is an issue that we get every day. I am tired. He's not helping with this and that, but when we get to the bedroom now, he wants me to act all out about it. One, coach, sex actually works way much better when you have a positive attitude about it. That's number one. You can work as much as you can during the day, but the danger in that is when you give yourself so much to everything out there in the world and forget to reward yourself. Rewarding yourself, I'm talking about, that, what, I've worked today, I've done this, I've done that. My mind, my emotions are actually just overworked. Now, what is the greatest pill for me to relax? Trust me, even men, we do go through that. You do go through something that you say, what, I have overworked, mentally and emotionally, I am drained. And when I get home, I just want to rest. I just want to go and take a shower and go to bed. But let me tell you something. The attitude that my wife and I had with regards to being tired was the fact that, babes, this should be our way of relaxing. My level, let me tell you something. There is no better pill when you're tired just to give it to each other, and then from there, logore how you slept, you won't even know. Why? Because you use it as a something that you actually soothe your mind and emotions, regardless of how you have worked through the day, right? So one, the attitude about it plays a major role. Number two, you need to be careful not to actually take sex as part of the responsibilities that you are doing every day. What I'm saying is that most people actually take sex same as they take chores. So much that, Emma, if we don't work on this, we don't work on that, then I'm the one who's supposed to come now and have this chore in bed. No, I can't do that. So if you want it, remember, this is something that you also need. There is somebody who used to say, and I loved that term, they used to say, Haiji Papa. And if they say Haiji Papa, that means there is a purpose for it. So why don't you use it as a form of relaxation? I know that some, when they go to bed, when you are tired, they don't read the mood, they just want to play wrestling. And when at that time, hey, I was picking up, metals and this and that. Now I just want to relax, I just want you to massage me and let's go with the flow. Now, that is the second point. And thirdly, Osmalebo, especially men, let me speak to men about this particular issue. We are always ready, but that does not mean that we always want it. So if you know that, you know what, today I really, really need it, before my wife even gets home, I have actually cooked, I have cleaned, I've actually, picked up everything that I know, it's a routine. When she comes home, she wants to do this, she wants to do that, she wants to do this, but let me make sure that I take that out of the way. Okay, I know my wife hates washing dishes. So let me make sure that I wash them, because sometimes it might not be about you washing the dishes, but it might be about you coming home, and since you hate dishes, you see dishes in the zinc, and already that changes your mood. And when
Mm,
it changes your mood, you lose focus on what you are supposed to do at that particular time. Now,
mm,
what I would do as a man, and what I normally do as well as a husband, I make sure that, look, whether Malebo, my wife runs business from home,
mm,
and now I'm always out there. I've got an office work as well. When I come home tired, I don't actually get there and assume that she was not doing much. If I see something that is misplaced, if I see dishes, I wash them. If I know that tonight is the night, I make sure that I prepare my wife while I'm still at work. I don't actually wait to get home, and then now it's like, something just said, click, by the way, this is the time you have to do it. No, 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 no. We need to understand that the more we communicate about sex, the more we talk playfully about sex during the day, it becomes a norm for us to prepare ourselves mentally and emotionally. And if we are prepared mentally and emotionally, believe you me, the physique just follow suit. It will just fall into place and say, oh, this is what the mind wants, and the emotions agree. So if the emotions agree, who am I to say no? Hey, baby, let's get it down. So if we can maybe look at that, especially as men. I remember getting into trouble when I said to a group of men, I said, gentlemen, remember, biblically, the man is the head of the wife. He is not the head of the family. The man is the head of the wife. That is what the Bible says. The man is the head of the wife. Now, if the man is the head of the wife, that means both man and wife are the heads of the family, because now they actually look after the kids and the household and everything. So, meaning both are the head of the family. What does that mean? It means everything that has to do with the family is both our responsibility. It is not only on one person.
Mm.
And if I see something dirty, I wash it. If I see something misplaced, I put it in its place. If I know that my wife is working and this is the type of work that she does, and when she comes home she's most likely to be tired, then I make sure that all the way, Malebo, let me be honest with you, no matter how busy you are during the day, when you have a husband who keeps checking on you, who keeps enticing you, who keeps doing this to you, you create a balance all through the day. You are busy, but now you are entertained at the same time. You're also only busy in a meeting. Who can SMS, say, oh baby, I just missed you so much right now. You are busy in a meeting. Now your mind learns to create a balance between the two environments. Now you're already preparing yourself for the man who misses you, and you want him, and you are also trying to close up a deal on this side. So we need to learn to create that balance. And lastly, be careful not to give yourself too much to the world that you cannot give into the marriage. That is where we miss it the most. You go out, you work, you hustle, you run businesses, you do all those kind of things. But then when you get home, you are tired. You don't even want to wash your own dishes. When you get home, you are so tired, you can't even cook for your own family. Now, you have given your energy, your time, and everything to the world, a world that can easily replace you. And now, when you get home, you have nothing to give. This is one of the reasons many marriages struggle, because I am working. Now that I'm working, where is your attitude in that working environment? Are you saying my life revolves around work 80%, because you give 8 to 9 hours of the day to the work? Now 80% of your life is at work. Now at home you give 20. And at home, that is where you're supposed to be happy. That is where you're supposed to be comfortable. That is where you're supposed to be fulfilled. That is where you're supposed to relax and be able to express who you are. But you are investing most of your time and energy into the world. Now, when you get home, you have nothing to give. And that is where the challenge starts happening now. Why? Because I am tired from the world, but I am tired for the family because of the world. But you are never tired for the world because of the family. Now, how do we create that balance? You need to understand that what you give out there to the world, it has to be according to your abilities, to how you want to give it, and when you want to give it. Because you cannot deprive yourself of this beautiful thing called sex, because you've given yourself so much time to the world and think, I'm making money, we have to survive, we have to do this. But the world is consuming you so much that you're thinking, I'm not going to give him sex because I'm out there in the world and working. He's not going to get it if I get home and he hasn't washed the dishes. Now you forget that attitude, that thought on its own, you are also depriving yourself. Because if you don't give to him or to her, you are also not getting yourself. So sex is not about giving only, it's about getting as well. So we need to create that balance. One thing that I can tell you we deal with on daily basis, Oswaka, is that very same issue, that you go out there to the world, you give your all, but when you come home, you have nothing to give. You can't even sit and play with your kids because you're tired. You can't even, just say, love, just right now, right now, right now. When I get home, whether the kids are there, hey, Bona, I just need a bit of a quickie, regular quickie, and I can relax, so that when I come, cook and do. And believe me, when you try that, I remember there's a number of couples that we've actually said, look, when you get home, before you do anything, Azish, and they will tell you, Malebo, for you know what? I'm looking for so much forward to it, because after that, nobody sleeps. It's still early. Now we go, we eventually just learned to wash dishes together. We just learned to do things together, look after the kids together, to do that together, because we have recharged. So that recharge on its own, and high fairly when you do it that time, it doesn't end because you're thinking, I think you robbed me because we thought the kids needs dinner and all something like that. Hey, we are coming back again. So you need to create that opportunity, which is point number 5. You need to create every opportunity to have it. Don't be too formal about it. Do not, because when you are formal at work and you get tired at work, when you get home, you want to be formal, and at that time you are tired to be formal. And now your mind and emotions cannot take it. And your body says, well, if your mind and emotions don't want it, then who am I to say, yes, take it? And this applies to both men and women. One thing I've discovered is that men easily get tired mentally and emotionally. Believe you me, mentally, men get tired because most of the responsibilities that men are accountable for has a lot to do with their mind. We process in the mind. And when my mind is tired, believe you me, it's just that God wired us differently. When my mind is tired, believe me, my body can still say, hey, Munna, here's food. What do we do? Let's go for it. And you find that I can still give, but then my mind and emotions are not there. And that is one of the dangers that we find ourselves in, especially in marriage. So we need to actually understand the fact that you need to create an opportunity to have sex. Don't formalize it. So I hope that these 5 points would actually help somebody create an opportunity. How Roberti? Hey Muna, hey Roberti Daman. I think the kitchen is quite is open for us. You just do that, and you're gonna love it. You will see.
I believe, Tabo, if we can get into a place where we can understand each other, and like I said in the first place when we were doing the other series, that in my line of interest in men, I have never been interested in a pastor or somebody who prays in the church. But immediately when I got into marriage, then the pressure of your husband must pray for you. Now I wanted to then push my husband to be that person. When I knew that, one, it was never my interest. Two, I never want, like, my husband is not that person. So there is this thing where we are getting married, and because of this institution, just like you said with sex, that they have demonized it. So when we get into this institution, you also get in with the beliefs of what marriage should be, and not marriage between like the institution itself, that a woman must do this. I mean, I had a friend of mine who said, when I get to your house and your house is dirty, I'm going to blame you, and then when the food is not there, then I will blame your husband. So you see, there are, a separation of people while we are in the house. Like I love the way you are explaining it, that we are both the head of the family, right? We are both the head of the family. And as we work together, you understand that my husband does not like church, or he is not that type of a person who can pray for me. And as a husband, you also understand, like you said, when I know that my wife doesn't like doing dishes, if that day I really, really want it, I will go and do everything so that she doesn't come home with a whole lot of list of things that she needs to do. So I think the issue of sex is really being human and understanding who we are in a marriage with, and not hoping that, hey, otherwise they are cooking and they are cleaning, where now you don't want to cook and clean, those type of things. If we can understand one another as a couple. And I want to read comments because today, Unati is saying, yes, Shem, we are tired, Betuna. And I think that she's talking about me saying, hey, guys. And she's also saying, rewarding myself is just sleeping in peace. So maybe Unati can explain to us, sleeping in peace meaning that no sex, or sleeping in peace meaning that, after you do it, then you just sleep, right? And Dr. Maditi says, so basically, the attitude is a major issue. So yes, and I loved how you put it, that when you get to the house, I know with me that time when I go to the house, how 7, there's no food, you know, and I have to like literally I have to cook and then start afresh, you know, then my mood changes altogether that, oh my goodness. So at least, you know, I would have loved if, and again, the issue of communication. Now I had expected it and I did not communicate. But then again, my husband also expected that I'm a wife, I must do those type of things. And that was also the issue. So again, we need to also communicate that this is who I am, this is who you loved. And you know what, Tabo, when we are in in relationships, I mean, my husband and I, he has never been a religious person who opens the Bible for me. And I've never been a person like when I'm visiting him, then I am like doing the chores. I've never been that person. Like then when you see this person, you understand that this is the woman I'm going to marry. So I would cook anytime when I feel like this is me, even in this house right now. I cook when I feel like, oh my gosh, yeah, today I have a recipe. So I want to try it, you know. So when we get into marriage, we want to sort of change people to be who they are not, when, you know, really you should just love the person that you are with. So Unachi says, Coach Unachi says, I don't believe that, Tabo, you guys are always wanting sex. Isn't it that? every time people are saying that. And I love this. Philippine says, wow, Philippine, then they got a solution. So Philippine says, we solved the problem of tiredness by doing it the following day around 5 a.m. So this is the 5 a.m. club. Oh, now when we wake up at 5 a.m. exercising, people are doing the other things. That is actually good. Finding a way that is most suitable for you and your partner, you know, when you're not going to say, hey, I'm doing this for you or what, but you are actually in the moment, right? So yeah, the topic is very hot. Let me just read a few comments. And it is nice when he washes the dishes, but too, you know, women want men who can just cook for me, please. And then they are asking Tabo that you need to do a seminar, and you know, really a men's seminar. And I know that these women who are here and the ones that are going to watch, they will even pay for their husband and say, go to Tabo. Yeah, go Tabo. Her face.
Le batompolaisa bjano.
And then Unati said, I love that part, giving yourself to the world that can easily replace you. And this is what we do. We give so much to the world, and you know, you are working, even at work, you cannot speak to your wife or your husband. You are so busy that you are suffocated. And then when you come back home, when we come back home, it's 5 a.m. 5 p.m. already. The day has already, like, you spend the whole day there frustrated and all that, and then you come back home and I must, or they must surprisingly make you feel better without you having to communicate. This is how my day is. This is what has been happening to me. Right, so Unati says she's the 4 a.m. club. So these people are waking up early just for that day. Yes. So
it's actually beautiful, Coach, that you end up learning how to communicate your sex life at different hours of the day. If you are tired in the afternoons when you come back home, then find a way, wake me up even in the middle of the night and ask, hey, are you asleep? I think you know, you need, that's why I say you create an opportunity. But as I said, the attitude behind it is what plays a major role. So don't say, well, I just want to come home that and go to bed, you know, that is my way of relaxation. You don't need to be in that selfish mode like that, because you also need to take into consideration your spouse in the process. And the only way to bring them into your world is to communicate where you are, how you are, and how you would want things to happen. Look, Osmalebu, we've watched a lot of movies before, and some of these things we think, well, these are just movies, they are fantasies. There are guys who would actually wake up in the middle of the night and go and cut the grass because they said, Emuna, we have to gym. But I'm still, thinking about that grass. And you would think that that is just a petty thing. But at the end of the day, when I am with my wife and we're about to do it, I need her undivided attention, same way as she needs mine. But imagine if now I want it and she's still thinking about the grass. She's still thinking about the fact that, hey, dishes, I was doing this the whole night. I found you sitting here, not doing anything. And at that time, you find yourself with someone who's lying there and praying that you finish soon. And we don't want to be at that point. Sex is more beautiful when you do it together, when both of you are in it. Not only one wants it and the other doesn't. Look, we do look, both men and women love sex, but we have our own way of loving sex. And the most important thing is how we communicate how we love sex. What is it that we can get out of the way so that our sex life does not suffer? So if it means you have to limit your time that you give to the world, do that. If it means you have to say, hey, Woza, because sometimes, Malebu, you marry someone who really, really has no idea how to create a balance in a marriage. He was raised in a cultural background that says a woman must clean, cook, wash dishes, look after the kids and everything. You just sit there and watch the news. Now, he has no clue how to change that scenario, how to change that perception. And you marry that person without communicating it, and you just expect him to change it. And this does not only happen to women, even to men as well. There are men who would actually expect, or be expected to do certain things that they don't understand, or they've got no clue how it happened. Even wives, there are women who grew up in environments that where they would never wash dishes, where they would never do house chores, where they would never this. And now it is a problem if that is not communicated. So what we need to do is that we need to understand sex is very important in a marriage. It's important, but is it more important than everything else? No, it is not. All other things that are in marriage, they are also important. We need to just be mindful of the fact that that sex part is one that would actually help us to minister to our senses, to minister to who we are, to minister to our love language, to minister to our bodies, to minister to our minds and emotions. That is the devotional moment as well. I take it like communication. Sex to me is communication. So imagine if we are communicating, you are upset and I am not, and I'm enjoying the conversation. It doesn't make sense to me, because if you are upset, I have to stop and say, hey, let's talk. What is it that upsets you? The same as sex. You can't find yourself doing it by yourself and hoping that your spouse is enjoying it. That is not how it works. There are times whereby I remember there's a saddest thing that I heard one man saying, there's a lot of people that are raping each other in marriage and they don't know it. And simply because you just get there, when you want it, you take it, both men or women. When you want it, you just go and take it. But you never actually read the mood. You never try to understand, babes, are you okay? Are you fine emotionally? Mentally, physically, push up, and you don't even entice. The moment when Angel, you feel that, hey, this is the moment, you just want to get it. And that is where we get it wrong. That's why that guy interpreted it that, there's a lot of rapes in marriages. And you find that they do it, one is not enjoying it while the other is. And in that case, you realize it's more like, in actual fact, somebody is being forced to actually do this. But now, how do we get to a point where we realize, this thing, we can enjoy it as much as we can? It's all a matter of how you communicate it. Community sex is very important.
Wonderful, wonderful. So Tabo, one of the things that I have learned from you is that sex is not an event that happens in the bedroom. A lot of people thinking, and with me, that is the reason why I did a video before explaining that sometimes to me in the bedroom, like I feel like, like I know, that is why I need a change of environment. But then it does not start in the bedroom. One of the things that I've learned from you, and I will never take it like, Bon, I'm going with this thing, because I've realized that I've realized that we as people, we think sex is an event that comes, when you are in the bedroom, then come, let's have sex. When like you are saying, you don't even know the emotional, where is this person emotionally, where is this person mentally, and then you expect, just because it's a man and you're thinking that men always want sex and then whatever, and you want to have sex with them. So this is a point where it means that communication is the importanta of them all in marriages, in relationships, that we need to communicate. Every time we need to be like in communication with one another. And like this serious thing that we like to do, I think it comes from that issue of the demon, sex being the demon, because now people are married but they can't be relaxed with one another and talk. I know that I cannot talk with you that, but I can talk to my husband, those flirting and saying, when I come home, this is what is going to happen, those what we call dirty talk. People don't do that. We are just, in marriage, one thing that we are doing incorrectly is thinking and glorifying our problems. That, hey, the kids don't have food, and then I'm whoever, and we don't think about us as people, as individuals, and also our emotional well-being. Like, okay, babes, I know we have problems. We don't have money, or we have money, or whatever the problem is. But how about we then start the conversation of sex while we are at work, so that you don't expect that when you get at home, then the dishes are already washed. You also, you have communicated that, babes, today I feel like I don't want to do anything, so obviously you are saying the message to your husband that, okay, then do this, or maybe you even asking. So there is one person here who said they want to ask a question. Okay. When I was heavily pregnant, I wanted sex so much, and the doctor said my body wanting to induce my labor, so it's good. But my husband would be so scared. I think we
I don't know how heavy she was. I don't know how heavy she was at that time, but hey, me being me, I found my wife the most sexually attractive woman at that time. Believe me, I wanted her every day. When we go to the doctor's appointment, I would sit there and say, Doc, up until when is it safe to actually hit it? Hey, and one of the doctors made my day, and she said, look, Baba, up until the day of birth. And I was so excited because I know that my wife was also like needing me here. So I don't understand, the scary part, it is that because we don't know whether we are hurting you, we don't know whether it's right to do it or it's not. So inquire with the doc. And I'm glad that he was scared, she saw it, and I hope they found a solution to it to say, it's still safe.
So I also had the same problem as Coach Nati, because my husband was very scared of that. Even me, I wanted. My husband was like, maybe thinking that maybe the kid is going to come out, or I feel you, Coach. I feel you. So Philippine is saying a sexy lingerie ups the moods. So yes, also dressing up for the bedroom, because there's this big tub. Hey, even me sometimes I do it, maybe because I'll feel like, oh yeah, today I just don't. But this thing of sleeping. You were saying that why are people sleeping on pajamas? So Philippine is also saying it that the dress up, the lingerie, and I also I would tell my husband, let me tell you, Tabo, one thing about me, I'm attracted to looks. Other than what people are saying about women, that women want, and then men are attracted to looks. With me, that is why even when I do my coaching space, that is why this whole candles and all that, I'm so much attracted to looks. So even my husband, I will tell him that when you come to the bedroom, please don't wear that thing because it doesn't look, it turns
Dave,
me off.
they look nice.
So we also need to have that environment where the bedroom is looking so appetizing that you can touch this person. Now the winter is coming. Can you please talk about that? Winter is coming. People are going to get in with like those what do they call it? I
Hey,
forgot the name. I forgot the name, but it's onzi. Yes, that onzi, and people are getting in the bed with it.
in whose house? In whose bedroom? Look, to be honest with you, when I met my wife, she was actually somebody like that, you know, and I made it clear. I said, love, whether it's winter, whether it's summer, or we are in Alaska, or we are freezing here. When it comes to our bed, nobody goes in there with clothes.
Hmm.
It was challenging for her at first, but then she learned, to let go of it. But no, it's cold. I am here. When we are covered in blankets, believe you me, we're gonna be warm, both of us. So what we need to learn in actual fact, Osmalebo, is if it is not a medical issue, then it has to be an attitude issue. Because
Mhm.
sometimes you might think that, you know what, we know that you guys, there are people who actually go to bed with clothes simply because they don't want it. The day they want it, they wear nothing. I remember I used to tell my wife this, and she said, no, baby, it just happened. I said, you're lying, because now we know that when we go to bed, we don't put anything on. But the day I see you wearing something, I know that today I'm not getting. But let me tell you something. You will come, you will wear it. I'm going to take it off. I don't care how many jeans you are wearing, because that is something that we have learned to communicate, her and I, to say, this is how we need to do things. Now, imagine there are sexy things that you can wear when you get to bed, and there are those that you wear that tracksuit during the day. I leave you in the morning, in the afternoon you're still wearing that tracksuit, and you want to come to bed in the very same tracksuit. You know, sex in marriage, it gets to a point where it is no longer about the attraction, the sexual attraction. Now it gets into the need for sex. And when you get to that point of the need for sex, trust me, it doesn't matter what your spouse is wearing, you would still need each other. Secondly, it could be that, or secondly, it could be that thing of saying, you know what, let me rather just get out of the norm. Let me get out of the norm. Let me just surprise my husband. And I'm going to be honest with you. Women have that anointing to attract beyond how we can ever attract you guys. That
Mm.
is basically in you. God has given you that anointing. It doesn't matter where you go, Malebu. Men will look at you. And now imagine in the house, I am here as a man. Look, I can pass a group of women, and they might not even one of them might not even look at me. I can just walk past. In most cases, that is how it happens. But a lady passing a group of men and they don't look, trust me, there must be something really, 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 really wrong with those brothers. Why? Because as a woman, you are just anointed to attract. So now, whatever that you do, remember, as men, we also get to a point where how my wife looks how my wife looks would actually give me an image that I will indulge on during the day. The rest of the day, I'll be thinking about my wife, especially when you do something different, especially when you just get that lingerie. And another thing is, if I want to see my wife in a lingerie as a man, I'm taking her shopping. I don't just expect her to actually one day, hey, I wish you could just, buy some new lingeries and stuff like. No, we have to pay attention to that which attracts us to our spouse. We have to also contribute to it. Sometimes Luena surprise her. We'd say, love, hey, Bona, I know your size. Ha, Bona, let's get this one on, Navi. And I'm telling you, but what matters the most, coach, is that if we fix our attitude and if we align our minds and emotions to what we are supposed to do, especially when it comes to sexual matters, believe you me, we will enjoy it regardless of what we are wearing, what we are or what we are not wearing. At any time, it doesn't matter what my wife is wearing in the house. If I look at her, and hey, something happens, she will know just by how I look at her. She will just know it. And she also has found ways to actually entice me. I found ways to entice her. Some of these things we communicate, some of these things we don't communicate. But already when you learn your sexual language, whether verbal or non-verbal, you will know that when she looks at you, kakhona early, you must just know her nowhere. You know what, kids, please let me play you a music video. I want to have a short prayer with mommy. And sometimes it is just a matter of changing that attitude. Osman, I always talk about couples being spontaneous. So now, if you create a barrier in your bedroom that, and you don't communicate it, you create that barrier of saying, you know what, if she comes to bed, that's to you or whatever, I'm not even going to look at her, and now it is an attitude. Whereas there are some ladies who would say, oh, I wish he can just take this jean off. Some would actually come to bed dressed up like that because they want you to actually go after them. They want you to take it off. They want you to. So you have to learn different ways. Sex does not have to be formal. If you formalize sex, believe me, you are not going to enjoy it. There are people also. I remember one of the worst advice I ever got from one pastor, but then I understood the generational gap. He said, at least have it every Tuesday.
Oh.
I was like, okay, every Tuesday and Saturday, that is our day. So now we have formalized it. Now that means if I want it Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I have to wait for Saturday. I was like, Muruti, that won't work. That won't work because, at the end of the day, it is more like you telling me if I get hungry now, I can only eat on Saturday because that is the day that we're supposed to have food. That is not how it works. So couples need to learn to communicate their sex language, whether verbal or non-verbal. But what matters the most, Osma Level, is to talk about it. Talk, man. Just be spontaneous about it. Imagine if one day you are tired, you come back from the world, you are tired from whatever that you were doing, and then when you get home, you just say, hey, Baba, Ozala, DJ, I need to show you something. I am tired, but today, I want to show you that even when I'm tired, hey, I can, hey, Bona, and now imagine what that will do to him. He's not gonna be like, and then where did you learn that? No, he's gonna be like, you know what? Now my wife is onto something, and that is what is going. Create every moment. Create the moment to have it. Don't hide it behind a whole lot of things in the world, behind kids, behind work, behind chores, behind that. Don't do that, or else put it in the forefront to say, I want to do it. Malebo, I've seen women who have learned to enjoy sex so much that they can't even hide it. Everything revolves around it. While others are saying women don't like sex as much as they do, believe me, there are men who are saying, hey, this wife of mine, believe me, hey, God has blessed me, eh? I'm telling you, it doesn't matter how, where, what's happening. When she wants it, I know how she communicates with me. I know how she actually wants it. And that is the line of communication that we have created. Learn to communicate. Be spontaneous about it. But Ramudim, The house has got many rooms. Remember the video I said about the lady who said, I'm seeing another man because, my husband does not satisfy me in bed. And the preacher was like, hey, did you try the toilet, the kitchen, the sitting room, the garage? But you find people not even utilizing those spaces. Why? It is only in the bedroom. Do you know how boring it is sometimes in the bedroom? Because
Yeah.
the environment is just, you are so used to it. Your senses are so used to it. And you're just thinking, hey, well, anyway, this is what is happening. But
Mm.
imagine if different times. And also, it's not a night thing. It's not only a night thing. When the kids are asleep during the day, make a moment. When they're out to play, make a moment. Sometimes when you are working closer from work, come back home during lunch, have the real lunch and dessert, and then go back to work. You
Okay.
have to create the moment. But people don't do that. Now I'll never teach something that I have never tried and I've seen it works. You know that my wife and I have actually found our own, what we call natural Viagra. And that works so perfectly for us. If you find something that, hey, entices your senses at any time, work on it, get onto it and say, baby, let's be consistent in this thing. And then you learn, it brings a new thing. You learn a new thing and then you learn to do it. Why are we so formal about it? I have no idea. Yet we are struggling. Yet we are not enjoying, but we continue to do the same thing over and over again. Ebatu, sex is beautiful, sex is nice, sex is hey, I don't know how to explain it, but I can tell you, learn how to do it right. Enjoy it with your spouse.
Wow, it has been an hour, and I know that with this topic, we are never going to finish it. We are never going to finish it. One thing that I am picking up is that we need to communicate, and also, this is what I'm voting for, that sex is not only in the bedroom. We can have sex anywhere. We can have sex in the car. We can have sex out, like, we have to get out of formalizing sex, because now when you formalize something, it's like going to work. Some people don't like going to work, because I mean, like, when you get to work, what is going to happen. It's the uniform. You do this. Now when you are doing it in the bedroom for however many years, you are going to get bored of it. So make that exciting moment, make that those type of things. And I love the fact where you said, when you are a man and you like lingerie, take your wife for shopping. Don't just expect that it should happen. Take her shopping. That is what I did with my husband. I said, there is a scent that I love so much. When I would smell people at work, but unfortunately they are not my husband. So I want the smell on you as my husband, because that smell, it's also something in me that makes me love you more. And I went to buy that perfume, and I said, this is the perfume that I want you to put on, so that even me, I feel loved. So let us do things that we would love. Maybe the way your husband or your wife is dressing up, maybe you don't like it, or you want him to look a certain way. Don't just say, hey man, dress up. Go with him, teach him, so that he knows that, okay, my wife loves this thing. So the last one that I want us to touch on before we go, and I see that where you are, it's even getting dark. What I want to talk about is the issue of kids. I mean, Coach Nati has got 4 kids. She must tell me how she does it. And I know as well you also have 4 kids, right? If you would hear, Nkosi has been busy trying to open the door, and here is the bedroom. He's now taller. He can now, open the door. Yesterday when I was live, he came in, so we tried finding the key and locking. So when you have kids and they just open the door, and how do you then set boundaries for your kids, and especially now, maybe Nkosi is still young to understand that, no, don't get into mommy's bedroom. But then when they start understanding the language, do you then tell them that you don't just barge in, or how do you go about it for people here who have kids who who would love to also enjoy sex, but then again, they are forced to do it in one environment because the other kid is 13 years, they don't sleep during the day, and then the other one is 4 years. So, the age difference. So, I mean, yeah.
I have 4 kids as well, Osmalebo. 15, 9, 2, and 1. And let me be honest with you, the 2 and the 1, they always want to see mommy and daddy. If we disappear, they actually have that thing, where are these people? And they can actually sense when we are not home. In most cases, if we leave them with somebody, they would fall asleep. They will sleep up until we come back. That is how we are so connected to our kids. But when it comes to our sex life, we have learned, one, find that thing which they love the most. What is it that kids love the most nowadays? You find that they love something on TV. There is something that was introduced to us called Coco Melon. They love it to bits.
All right, we have Miss Tabo there. I think it's the network. The network is saying,
yeah, no, they love. Sorry, I'm here. Can you hear me now?
yes, yes.
Yeah. So they love Coco Melon, and also they love music. Our kids are musicians. Believe me, when we want them to sleep, we just play music. And trust me, they will sit here and they will watch it, worship, raise hands, or whatever type of music that we are playing, they will sing it, and then they will fall asleep. So we've learned that finding out what the kids want will actually take them away from you. It will take their attention, and then they will learn to dwell more on that, so much that even when you disappear every now and then, they would actually just look and look, but there is something that has actually gotten their attention. So that is one thing that you can do. And secondly, when they grow, you teach them at the age. I remember our sons, we taught them that at the age of 4 or 5, when they come to any room, toilet, the rooms, or anywhere, they knock, and you don't open up until you hear come in. That is one thing that we have actually taught them. So what happens is, even let's say for instance, Nkosi right now, he's still small, right? And he just want to come, he wants mommy, he just want to do this. Believe me, our 2-year-old, we are teaching her the same thing. Mommy, knock. Even when we're not doing anything in the room, even when the door is half open, we teach her, hey, go back, and then knock, knock. And then we're teaching her to respond to come in, and then she would actually only come in when she hears you saying that. So what we need to do is that when it comes to kids, we need to understand that sometimes we can control the situation, sometimes we can't. And the only time we cannot control the situation is when they are still infants and they cry and they want to eat and they want to do that. But if they're at that stage, learn to maximize every little moment you find. The moment they go to sleep, Shona in the corner, you've got nothing to do. They are sleeping, they are relaxing, then get down to it. Create the moment. So kids should not be a distraction to your sexual life. Learn to balance yourself as to how do we maneuver around them seeking our attention, around them wanting us to do this and to do that. So you learn to maneuver, but at the end of the day, they still need to learn to respect your time, and you need to teach them at a very young age. Believe you me, right now when Nkosi is knocking and you are not opening, he might throw tantrums. I want mommy. But if you remain consistent and just stay there, and he will eventually understand, he will learn that, hey, now even if I can go and knock and throw tantrums, mommy is busy. Mommy is not going to open for me. So we teach them to do these things. And how do we get to a point where we master this? Is when we see the fruit of what we've been teaching, happening now. We can see that when they get 3, 4, 5, they learn to follow the rules that we have taught them. So let your kids not distract you from your sexual life. Just learn to try and get it in between. Osmalebo, my wife and I, we have learned to be as naughty as can be.
mm,
When they are out and trying to go and play, we get busy in the kitchen, and then when you hear mommy, 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 then you wash dishes. So you learn to actually create those type of moments for you, and it will work, believe you me. And sometimes you have to delegate responsibilities. The 15-year-old Emuna, go and play with your little sister outside. She loves to be outside. She loves outdoor. Take her, go out there and play. They go and play and play. 15 minutes, believe you me, it is enough. 15 minutes, it's enough just to say hello, 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 hi. Then that's it. But if you always want to be formal, you will always try to find something that is a barrier, whereas it is not. So children are not a distraction. We need to teach them. If they are at the age where they cannot understand, maximize the moment where their attention is not on you. When they are sleeping, when they're watching their favorite program, just try and maneuver around that. Teach
mm.
them. They will learn, and they will learn to respect your space.
All right. What time is it? Wow, this is 22:07. That is so late. Thank you so much, Tabo. And we will wait. I will also give Tabo this pressure that he needs to do a men seminar. This is where men are going to be. I know if it was me that I have to pull a women's seminar, even tomorrow I would have a poster there saying, this is how much you guys are coming. I mean, people here were saying, we can even pay for our men to come. They must talk to you. This man must talk to Tabo, and then things are going to be all right in the house. So
Well, they need to come with their men, because if you just send him, it's going to be like, who is he to
or
come and
maybe
teach me what?
we should actually. I was thinking the other day, but I will talk. I will talk to you. I was thinking of something that we can do for couples, because as you are saying that, let's not separate the two people. Let's come together and then talk. The setup that we had at the marriage retreat. So tell me, do you still have space for the retreat that is happening in May?
Yes, we still do. We've got 5 spaces left now, and because of the COVID restrictions, we have to limit the number. So we've got 5 spaces remaining right now. So whoever wants to come, make sure that you actually book your space as soon, as quickly as possible, so that you don't actually get to miss out. These are some of the things that we actually talk about.
Yeah.
One day we're gonna share about what happened in the previous one, but we're looking forward, to the one ahead. HSP has no place in our marriages. If you wanna understand what HSP mean, ask
Yeah.
Coach Malek. He knows.
So we also want to be part of the retreat, but in May we might have a big financial disruption. So we're still weighing our options, but I would love to be part of it. Actually, on the weekend I was asking my husband, are we going to the retreat? He was saying, yes, I want to go, but that in May we might have a big something,
Let me tell you something. You are coming.
But anyway, I want us to do a couples thing, and I will talk to you. For people who are watching here, the replay and also the live, thank you so much for being here with us. Please I have taken down the notes that we need to create time for sex, and sex is not a formal thing. We also need to communicate as to what actually makes you, we didn't even talk about the issue of women. There are some women who I have met who said they do not reach an orgasm, or sometimes they need to think about the time they reach an orgasm with another person. So we didn't talk about it. We will talk about it the next time. So we need to get to a place where we can be fulfilled, because sex is not only for men, sex is for both of us. I mean, I love sex. My husband also loves sex, because we were created by this, the very same sex that we are creating other kids, Bonkosi and Kosi siblings and your children. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching. I mean, it has been 1 hour, 40 minutes, I think, or whatever, that we have been here together. And thank you for taking your time out of your busy schedule to do this live with me every Thursday. And we will talk on WhatsApp. And thank you guys for being here. I have been watching that people have, and do they have questions? Because today it was a topic that, hey, it was nice. So is there anything that you want to say? I'm giving you a minute. Yeah.
A minute. There's the only thing I want to say to you guys is that, as you can see, all the sessions I've been doing them in the car, simply because Coach Malebu has taken me from the days which my son does practice for his soccer. So now I'm watching him as I'm with you. So I'm going to send a bill to Coach Malebu to say, just for taking me away from him. But it has been such a pleasure, and I pray that we actually have these sessions again when you are ready, Coach Malebu, so that we can just engage with people on simple ways to create a life that you can enjoy in your own marriage. Your sex life, has to be the most fun and enjoyable thing that you can have. So when it comes to this topic, believe you me, they know now I love it so much. And I'm glad I'm married to a girl who also loves it so much. So whenever we talk about it, it is our thing. So learn to have that communication method. Sexual, we call it communisex. Don't be shy to discuss it with your spouse. Talk about it. Be spontaneous. Entice one another. Whichever way that can take his attention from anything that he's doing. Try that. Be kids when it comes to your sex life. Believe me, you are going to enjoy it. At 40, we are still going. Even at 90, my wife and I will be sitting here teaching you at 90 years old. This is how you do it. We love you, Coach Malebo. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Tabo. Have an awesome evening. And thank you to your son as well, that the dad has to go out for an hour or whatever so that we can do this. Thank you.